Coach, obviously the latest news is Livers signed him to a two-way. Was out all last season with the hip. What kind of feedback are you getting in terms of where he's at physically and in terms of trying to get back to playing?
Yeah, I think Isaiah, brings a shooting piece, size piece. I think we're looking on this roster. He has been injured, but now he's back. He's fully healthy. He's been here. Yeah, excited to see him more this summer into training camp and into the season.
Curious when you look at just, and then obviously before that, curious how you see the roster right now with Kevin being traded, the rookies now that it's kind of forming. What's your take on it right now?
Yeah, right now we're focused on the summer league group. It's exciting to see all the new pieces in the gym right now, especially this draft class led by Ryan and Oso. As we progress on through summer league, it's not that many practices, so we're just learning our guys as we go through. Super excited to have them in the building. The building definitely has a great energy right now. Excited here to practice in their day and get to Vegas.
What have you seen from Kaman so far?
You know how big and long he is. It's obvious. His ability to run just creates a different dynamic. The vertical spacing that he has above the rim, and then just the overall size and rim protection. You can feel it every second he's out there. I think, again, just you saw it yesterday even at the press conference, like his spirit, his upbeat personality, and he communicates on the basketball floor, which will be great because in summer league, because there's not a ton of people there, you'll be able to hear him. So, we're learning more about him, just like he's learning about our system and his teammates. But he's been great.
In Cleveland, you guys had the dual bigs because of how versatile those two guys were. You see a lot of dual big lineups around the league. Is that something, I know you're focused on summer league, but is that something you kind of project for Kaman and maybe Mark to do together, or is that something that might take more time to grow into?
I think every option's on the table, and I think you see the league, some teams really stressed it to a different level of just throw it up there and go get the rebound. I think in Cleveland it was probably a little more skilled than that at times, just because of the spacing of the four at that time, Evan. Miami's tried it, the thing about this league, it changes. So whatever worked 5-10 years ago, it's ever moving. And I think summer league, I've been telling our group is what else is going on out there. How Memphis is playing. There's these other teams that are trying stuff in summer league where we're trying to learn what best fits our group and what we can take into training camp in the season.
Can you tell me a little bit about talking about Kaman popping out and shooting threes and being in the corner? Is that something that was anything of a surprise to you guys, seeing him shoot the ball?
As an NBA coach, like, you get into these draft process pretty late, and just the way the NBA works, you're so dialed into NBA, the next scout, your previous game, the college game, you don't get to see a ton. With Kaman's ability, he's so skilled. With his ability to space the floor, I don't think you want to put any expectations on him at this time. What he does provide right away is his rolling ability, the ability to get on the rim. But I do think because of the possibility of him and also playing together, even at Summer League, that you're going to see him on the perimeter a little bit. So, I don't think you put any guardrails right now. You just see what he can do. I think he's surprised himself a little bit already. But you got to do it in the game. You got to do it for 82 games. There's a long path, long road ahead.
Coach, how would you describe your first month and a half as an NBA head coach?
Busy. I think busy. There's a lot of things that go on, I think, as an assistant that you see, but shifting over that one seat, again, just blessed to be in a position, in a great place, excited to get, be here with my family after Summer League. But yeah, I think you just wake up every day and you try to do the best you can. You try to learn what has gone on here the last couple of years, learn our guys. Now we have them in the gym. Now we're like moving on to basketball, which as a basketball coach I appreciate.
The reason I asked is because Ryan and Oso both said they're coming here late for their tour-a-days, and you're still here. And so are you burning candles at both ends, trying to get as much as you can?
I feel good. I feel great. I mean, there's no lack of whatever. Lack of sleep doesn't really exist. you know what you sign up for. I mean, it's easy now. My family's away, so. But yeah, this is what we signed up for. I think it's exciting. You know, this is a time of year where you're like collecting a lot of data, collecting a lot of information on your team, on the organization, on the group, our staff. So, you know, again, I'm grateful to be in the spot. But it's cool to see those guys come back too. You know, they have, it's, you know, almost every night those guys are back together, which is again pretty cool.
What about Deari? Obviously, Deari, someone you worked with in Cleveland and worked with in LA. What is it about him that you wanted to bring him along with you?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen DC in multiple spots as a player and then now as a coach. You're going to see it. You're going to feel it. You know, when he talks to you guys, he has a different way about him. He has a positive outlook in life. He chose to come into coaching after playing, which I think is unique. You know, and he's knows that he has growth ahead, and I've seen him take steps as a player and then now as a coach. And yeah, I'm lucky to have him here. We're lucky to have him here, but I'm also lucky to see him at different spots of his career and really his life. So I'm excited for his next step, our next step together.
What makes Kobe such a talented shooter?
He makes shots. That helps, but I do think like he has an ability to shoot off the move, which not everyone has in today's game. You know, I think it's kind of gone away, like off of screens. But his shooting ability comes from reps and his confidence to take tough shots. He's a little bigger, which helps get him off. But he is a shooter. It's a different line. It's a different speed. But we want him to be a really good basketball player. It's not just the shooting piece that we're interested in. It's the human, again, that you guys saw yesterday at the press conference. He's got an edge about him from where he's from. The family piece is real. Like, he really has a sense of pride about where he's come from. And, yeah, again, just another guy we're excited about.
Did you work with Deari much when you guys were in Atlanta together more than a decade ago?
Well, Brooklyn for sure. So Atlanta, then he went to Toronto, and then coming back to Brooklyn. Yeah, definitely. You could ask him some questions of what exactly we did on the court, but yeah, definitely both of those spots. And then he went away, started his coaching career, and then LA and Cleveland.
His playing style and kind of as a junkyard dog, like how much of that is what you guys are trying to have here too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think his path, like not only his style on the court, but first round pick, really didn't get out of those 4 years on that rookie deal. He had to find his own way, bounced around a little bit, then found a home, found someone that valued him, and then, you know, he was able to have some playoff success, and his career really took off. So his path is easily relatable to these guys that he mentioned right to him on day one. Like, you don't know where this journey is going to take you. So his path wasn't always straight up. You know, he had a couple bounces, a couple rough patches in it. So he's been able to convey that to the guys, and I think it's good for our guys to see someone like that now make it on the other side with some experience.
How much is it relatable for having Deari with his playing style translate to what Rasheer's doing in St. Joe's, that length and that shooting ability and all the things defensive?
Yeah, I think on the summer league team it's multiple guys, right? It's Ryan and Rasheer. I think, you know, again, it's both. Like, I think his shooting piece came later in Deari's career. I saw him a little bit later in his career, but yeah, he was known as more of a, you know, a defender, a cutter, a guy that's going to get on the glass and get you extra possessions. That's how he started, and then he saw the game evolve, and then he shifted into more of a catch and shoot, three-point shooter, more of a slasher. But the defensive piece never went away, and I think, you know, we all like to talk about offense. Like, even me, when I started talking about come on, I talked about his offense, but in reality, when you're a young guy in this league, it's really the defensive piece that gets you on the floor and keeps you on the floor.
What have you seen out of Rasheer to that point? Because he talked about, you know, at St. Joe's it was more of a 3-and-D role, but it kind of felt like he feels he can do more and evolve more as a player.
Yeah, I think we will start there. You know, you start with what you're good at. You don't try to come to this level and do something that you're not good at. So the 3-and-D piece, if you could do that at a high level, that makes for a long career too. So I saw when I was watching his college film was, first off, they had an NBA offense, which I thought was unique. The way they played was definitely NBA actions, NBA concepts. And then he played like a wing on the perimeter. Even though, like he said yesterday, like he was, you know, a big at certain points of his career, he didn't play like a big. The way he moved, the way they used him, like even off of screens at his size was a bit unique.
Coach, the other thing I have was you said moving over to that 1C, you went from someone as an assistant trying to get a job, now you're head coach trying to hire assistants. What's that shift been like for you in the process of building a staff?
I think when you're on staffs, you know when you're on a really good staff. And you know, my last handful of years, I was blessed to be on really, really good staffs where we all got along, no egos. Everyone tried to help each other. And then it's a long season, so you want to appreciate and like who you're with on your coaching staff. So I've tried to be really diligent in that here. I know we're building something unique here. I want those guys around me that I can lean on, because I don't know exactly what this is going to be. I don't know all these steps in it. But guys that have been through it, different programs than even myself, so I've tried to broaden my scope a little bit. But there's also the piece of like ingraining yourself with the guys and how we're going to build this environment, have a feel for what exactly that vibe and that environment should feel like on a day-to-day basis is really important. And I think you'll see like us on the court more. Like you're going to see some coaches out there building sweat equity with our players through player development, through practice. We are all in this together. So knowing that on the front end, I've taken my time to try to build this thing out right.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach.
Thank you guys. We'll see you around.